Donald Trump at the center of media attention this week, so will the convention excitement and his message get through to voters and give the GOP nominee a big bounce in the polls? Kyle Kondik is a political analyst. He is University of Virginia Center for Politics and managing editor of Sabato's Crystal Ball. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, I was looking back at the data, and you look at the bounce that Republicans have gotten in the past. In 1988, they got a huge bounce, 10 points. You look back at 2012, though, most recently, and that one was very modest, only 2 points, barely anything. What makes the difference?
So I do think that the last night of the convention is pretty important. If you remember 4 years ago, Mitt Romney had that Clint Eastwood speech that I think was kind of a mess. And I think that overall the Republican convention in 2012 wasn't that great. And I think we saw that the bounce wasn't that big. And the other thing is that, you know, modern conventions, at least the past few cycles, they've been held, you know, back to back. The Republicans are this week, the Democrats are next week, and that's deliberate because the president's party gets to pick historically to be the, you know, to be the second convention, and I think they schedule it precisely to step on any sort of bounce that the challenging party could get, and so that's different now than it was in past elections like 1988. So
is that how it happens? Because I did wonder that. It seems like you would want to go second because you would want to really ride that bounce, but it's whoever's in office gets to go second?
The incumbent party gets to go second, and I believe that the incumbent party and incumbent parties from here on out are going to be scheduling right after the challenging party because, again, they're very cognizant of the fact that there is a poll bounce and that the polls really begin to become pretty predictive after the conventions.
So you've been watching this one. You know, not a lot of unity is an understatement. A lot of excitement.
Sure.
I mean, we see Donald Trump here coming out, you know, with all the smoke and everything. What do you expect from this one, and how much is riding on tonight?
I do think that tonight is very important. You know, there have been some rocky moments in this convention. I actually thought that, contrary to what a lot of people thought, I didn't think the Ted Cruz speech was really that big of a deal. And I think that last night was probably a better night for the convention than the first two. And really, you know, I think tonight's very important because, you know, this is all about Donald Trump. We'll see what kind of message he gives. You know, Trump has been kind of stuck in the low 40s in the polls. He's never really been higher than 42, 43 in polling averages. Now's a chance to see if he can break through, and a big part of that is how he performs and how the public generally reacts to how this convention went. And we don't really know the answer to that yet.
So that's a critical point. His ceiling so far has been about 43. And some people have wondered if he can get higher than that at any point in time. You point out that he was sitting at about 41 going into this convention. 2 is all that Mitt Romney got. And looking back through the numbers, that was sort of the worst bump that I could see that anyone had gotten since we'd been really keeping track of this sort of thing. So at this point, do you think he'll get more than 2 points? What's your bet?
Kind of hard to say. I think he has a decent chance to ultimately, but again, there's, you know, if he can only get to 43, 44, 45 at what should be a very high point for his campaign, you know, that's still pretty far short of 50. So I think Trump needs to, you know, the historical average is about 5. You know, if Trump got 5, I think that'd be really pretty good for him. And whatever complaints there were about this convention would be sort of proven wrong, I think, by what the numbers say. But, you know, if Trump only gets what Romney got, that he'd still be well short of 50, and it would show that, you know, after we talked about a ceiling during the primary for the whole time that he eventually broke through, maybe there's a harder ceiling here in the general election for him.
All right, Kyle Kondik, piling on the pressure for Donald Trump tonight as if it weren't already there. You just ratcheted it up another 5 notches. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.